Good evening and welcome to the May 7th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. If everyone would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And welcome for those in attendance or those that have tuned in. Ask the board any announcements this evening. See any hands going up, so we'll move on. We don't have any appointments. Hearing a delegation. Any one of you three would like to say? Correspondence, weekly treasurer's report, Representative Libby's newsletter, Senator Tuttle's newsletter, ecoMaine's newsletter, letters from Partners for Healthier Communities, letter from the Maine Legislature, the Town of Waterboro's resolution regarding the governor's proposal, warrant for the district budget meeting of Regional School Unit number 57, confidential copy of a letter from the town administrator, and then there's a planning board workshop agenda that is also part of the correspondence. So if anybody would like copies of anything other than the confidential letter, please let us know. We'll jump right into reports and staff initiatives. Planning board. Tim, I would presume you're the spokesman this evening.
My name's Tim Neal. I'm chairman of the planning board. Getting to their workshop, Chief Boers is unable to attend. He planned to be there. And I was talking to John, and going into it, if you guys still want to do it without him, we could keep it as scheduled.
I know I'm not able to be there tomorrow night.
We've had some things in writing from him, recommendations, and I don't think anything would be decided tomorrow night, but we could still hold it.
Yeah, I guess the question is do you have input from him that you would have that would add value to the workshop?
I think so. Yeah, we have some things
Continue
in
to go
writing.
with a workshop.
Yeah. I think if he can make a either report, an oral report or a written report, and that's
We've talked to him
Go
quite a
on
bit
with it.
about it. We have some stuff in writing, and
Yeah. So I think if you wait to get all five of us and him as the sixth party, you're gonna, there's a lot of moving pieces, and to get everybody in the room at the same time. So I think if you get an opportunity to get the majority, I think you take that opportunity. So.
and it's not like it's a final draft of anything. And he has, it was because of a vehicle crash that it's not a whimsical reason for him not being there. It's pretty serious. So, our wellhead protection zone potential ordinance is with the town attorney, trying to find some enforceable wording for that. Should be back sometime in June, hopefully. We're looking at site plan review and site plan ordinance again. There's a conflict there we'd like to resolve, and maybe looking at ways to make it easier for people on the smaller end of expansions to expand without going through all the expense and trouble of full-blown site plan review. The CEO, Mark, has mentioned an issue with dock lengths that he keeps running into. We're kind of taking a look at that, seeing what other communities do. Just kind of a way of looking at different things in the ordinances that need to be updated. Again, cisterns workshop planned for tomorrow night. And we're moving ahead with looking at rezoning that area in East Waterboro that we changed a little bit a couple of years ago. Looking at doing an expansion of that village zone in conjunction with the 2020 committee. And Tom's going to be coming to us with a recommendation, a starting point for that, and begin the process. And I think that covers it for me. Any questions?
You mentioned the dock length, and I know Mark had mentioned that to me kind of offhandedly one night here, but has the planning board collectively as a group, and the CEO, and the town planner, got in a party boat or anything and gone around the lake lately?
I know Mark had some pretty interesting pictures that I've
Yeah.
seen. It's been a while since I've been around.
Yeah, I'm
but-
just curious if anybody's really kind of had a good view of what may or may not be going on going in. Right.
Well, I think what we have is obviously.
They have a real party boat, so,
Yeah.
I mean,
I wouldn't pass that up. I don't think what ordinance we have says a 15-foot dock,
Yeah.
and I think you'll find that that's
probably very few
not
15-foot
really being
docks.
applied.
What about the decision on whether the town is going to accept financial responsibility for maintaining?
I talked to Dave about that before, but thanks for reminding me. I'm sorry, I did talk to Dave, I didn't talk to you guys. One of the things moving into the workshop tomorrow night, kind of a cutoff point we're looking at is that do the selectmen think or agree that the town should be financially responsible for cisterns once they're in the ground? And that means the fire department inspecting them periodically, you know, doing a limited amount of clearing. Because from what we've seen, it looks as if, even if you don't want to be in a fire, in a bad situation, towns have been found liable for the maintenance of cisterns, even though supposedly they were owned by an association and a subdivision. So,
Yeah, I think it'll be good fodder for discussion for tomorrow night, but I think therein lies one of the big mysteries, right?
exactly.
Just because some association is supposed to own it and maintain it, and I think, and we could probably validate this, it probably has been zero done on any of them. That,
Well, we're lucky. We have, you know, a developer who has years of experience in this, and people stop paying for that type of maintenance. I mean, it starts out they assume responsibility for it, but I mean, you want to depend on that when they hook the fire truck up to it.
so that has to be, I think, part of the discussion with the planning board and that developer when that comes up, but I'm sure we'll air that all out tomorrow.
But moving ahead with that understanding that
Well, somewhere, somebody, I mean, I think if we continue, if we don't make some sort of a change, 10 years from now, we're gonna be in the same place that we are today.
with more
With the
established
question of, hey,
systems.
we're requiring people to put in cisterns and nobody's taking care of it.
Maybe this is where we start looking at impact fees.
So,
Yeah, they definitely need a high level of inspection and maintenance. It's not just something you want to leave.
yeah, and it probably, not for tomorrow night's discussion, but I know we, the town and the planning board have required certain developments and developers to put in sprinklers. Who inspects the sprinklers? I mean, you know, the discussion I had with Chief Boers is can't get people to change a 9-volt battery in a smoke detector. I'm not sure how you get sprinkler systems inspected so that we know 5 years down the road that they still work, right?
Yeah, there's pros and cons for
Right.
both of them.
So,
Although sprinklers seem to be building up some headway
Well-
nationally.
certainly the insurance companies would like to see sprinklers.
Yep. All set? Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. ZBA, do we have anybody on the ZBA that's here? Town planner. Anything else, Tom?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members, town administrator. First of all, I like that idea of a party boat. I hear the Holden's got quite the party boat, so I would volunteer to be a man doing some recon around the lake.
You got one of those little hats you could wear and be the
Why
skipper?
do I have a feeling the fishing pole would be involved?
Well, we could always troll and do recon at the same time, where we could multitask.
What are you going undercover?
Oh, boy. So, where do we begin? First of all, I'd like to compliment the board. The majority of the board attended the last presentation by the Sewell Company. And that not only pleased myself, but it pleased the members of the committee to see the board there looking and reviewing and commenting and adding depth to the work that we're currently embarking on. a lot of that work, and it's gobbled up over the last couple months a fair amount of my time with some of the 2020 work, because I've acted as liaison to the Sewell Company and the GIS work. The GIS, the Geographic Information Systems, is really becoming a reality. And for those of you that were there, you've got to see the unfolding of all these pieces, these layers, and I'm going to try to put it in layman's terms, these layers of information that we've had hidden in attics, in broken pieces here and there. And probably the best starting point, and I want to give you an illustration as a whole board and Nancy to see the layer of composite tax mapping is at the head of your desk. And so Gordon has a copy there, and you all have a copy in front of you. For the longest time, we've had a tax map system that, shall we say, kindly is fragmented, and it doesn't sew together well. And so we finally grabbed the bull by the horns and decided to take all of our tax maps and create a composite map system. When you create a composite, you find your errors more rapidly. And so we're in that part of the process now where we've converted all the files, have made this composite map that is now digitized and is one of the multiple layers of the GIS system. Our next goal is to get it to become a web-based system. We're very close to that. There's just a lot of pieces to make it happen, not only efficiently and effectively, but also in a very cost-effective way. So we're working on that. A lot of time was spent by the Sewell Company, and I have to publicly pay this compliment to them in digitizing all this information. As you well can imagine, to take the lot lines and then to digitize from aerial photography all of the human-made structures and then have them synchronize and then lay together is a monumental task. And so they have served us well, and it's been a pleasure for the committee and to have our planning board members there too to see what they're doing. So we've done a significant amount of work in the GIS system. What still remains to be done is to clean up some of the inaccuracies of the past maps. And several of the selectmen have suggested and encouraged the staff to participate in that. I can say this evening officially that it looks as though we'll be getting some support services pro bono from the Sewell Company to offer some initial services. We'll try to do some in town hall class work, if you will, for part of a day, and then other part of the day actually in the field doing some digital work. That'll get us started. So in closing on that part, the Sewell Company has been a great engineering company as well as a great scientific company to work with. Those of you that were at our last meeting noticed that they had mentioned that they used Waterboro as a new state model for doing fairly advanced GIS system work. And that's pretty exciting to have them use us as a model. Speaking of that contractual fulfillment, their project is pretty much done. They will have one more presentation that will speak to subsurface infrastructure, some red flags to look forward to in the future, in the next 10 to 20 years, as well as trying to put our arms around what some of the better business properties are in town for a business park, for large-scale business development. As Selectman Gordon pointed out at a recent meeting, good relationships build good products. And I think this is a real good illustration of how the committee, the planning board, the staff have worked to build a good relationship with a company that hasn't worked with the town for a goodly number of years. And good relationship has really produced some good products. Speaking of contracts outside of the GIS, the Wright Piers contract that we secured through a grant for up to $30,000 is virtually complete. The board has noticed, both under the advisement of the town administrator and myself, to bring you up to speed as to where that project is. That's the design, the drainage design, and the sidewalk project on the old Alfred Road. All that work, engineering-wise, is complete. All that work, cost estimate-wise, is complete. The only incomplete portion is a decision as to what the town wishes to do in the future. Does it wish to take these designs and hold them for some appropriate time in the future? Or does it wish to get on a wait list for a possible construction project in 2014-15? That's when the next cycle of grant monies are going to unfold, construction grant monies. So in order for us to prep up for fiscal year 14-15, we need to zero in fiscal year 13 as to what we anticipate we may or may not want to pursue. If the selectmen at any point have any specific questions on that, you can send me an email or you can ask them tonight, and I'm prepared to answer any and all of them. The town is in a pivotal position with potential DOT monies. You're also, as you're aware, in a pivotal position to be looking at construction projects in the future. The key is to separate what's a wait list and what's a definite green light project. Okay, there are many projects that are in the design stage at the state level, and those that are design centered or design centric mean that the town has to step forward and say, yes, we're interested in having you overlay this road or reconstruct this road or this segment of road. So I bring that up tonight because it's really critical. There's new competitive edge with municipalities for those that keep and build a strong relationship with the DOT. And I know our road commissioner has been doing that. In addition to the efforts of the road commissioner, it's important for the selectmen to determine which lists you want to stay on for projects that are 2, 3, and 4 years out. It's becoming very political, and the money is being stretched. Those who speak the loudest politely get the money. Tim has brought up the efforts that are ongoing with change of zone. We've discovered that we can make improvements to the change of zone process, and I'm designing a change of zone application form, a very simple one that the planning department can walk an applicant through. And the case that Tim spoke of, you can expect that it'll be moving forward in a fairly progressive manner. I'll be writing a report to the board for them to review, pulling together some of the details, weaving it into the 2020 work that's been done, and then the planning board will hold a public hearing. Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, I think that it's reasonable to think that by the end of June, the initial planning board work will be done on it.
Assuming the majority of the board wants to move forward.
Correct. Thank you. Assuming consensus, then we'll take the next step. I'm feeling very positive and very confident that we can put the pieces together and make a smart and rational recommendation. Okay, so that's progressing, I think, progressing quite well. I'm also preparing some digital scientific requirements for plan submittals so that all plans that come in the future, if the planning board and if the public wishes to pass an ordinance that speaks to digital formatting in plans, Basically, that means all plans will be consistent. All plans that come in will be easily grabbed upon approval by the planning board. Staff can take them, pop in the coordinates, and we'll have a continuum of updating our maps as soon as they're approved. The only way to do that is to have consistency and have digital files that are all identical. By identical based on the standards of our current GIS system, the state GIS system, and all other work that we've recently done. So that'll be forthcoming. I've spoken to the chairman about it, and I would expect to have something on the planning board's table within the next 15 or so days. Additionally, and I missed part of Tim's presentation, but there are 2 conditional uses forthcoming. One is by the Historical Society. Diane has put together a letter of request for conditional use for farmers market / crafts market.
We already have permission for that. We want to add a community yard sale to that.
In addition to that, a community yard sale. Running parallel to that, the Cornerstone Market is also contemplating a similar proposal. And from what they tell us recently, they have between 10 to 15 vendors that are interested in setting up on a seasonal basis, on the weekends basically, to sell produce and crafts. So that'll be applications forthcoming because they have to be reviewed and voted on by the planning board. I've been in touch several times with Victor Wright on his project on Main Street. That is complete. It's currently one of the tenants is his daughter. She has a hair salon in one of the units. There are still 4 units that remain. They're done up very, very tastefully, and they're approximately 600 square feet each. There's 4 more units that are available for startup businesses. In addition to that, the Patterson Group has gone through their site plan review process with the planning board. I've met with them on numerous occasions to enhance the site planning, and so the approval has been accomplished, and construction is likely to be somewhere in the course of the summer.
That's on the Cressy property?
Pardon me?
That's on the Cressy property?
Right, it's on the Cressy property.
I missed that, I'm sorry.
The mini storage proposals on the
Okay.
former Cressy property. So, people continue to ask about the Heat's Convenience Store as to what might be a likely candidate. At this point in time, there's lookers and tire kickers, but there's no takers at this point in time.
See, they just put up fairly recently new signs. Oh, can't be a lot of serious stuff in the works.
I would agree, Mr. Chairman. It's nothing serious or inked at this point in time. Any questions from any of the board members?
With regards to the GIS, I know the road review committee worked really hard to try and meet a deadline to get the mapping done for the roads. Tommy went out and did a lot of measurements, and they put on a lot of miles confirming roads. Nancy Roberg put a lot of work in kind of getting it all data together. And I know they got it done by the deadline. Where did it fall through the cracks that it didn't make it so that we were going to have a road map with the GIS?
Well, I'm bewildered by your comment fell through the cracks, because I don't believe it fell through the cracks. It's being worked on.
It is going to be done.
Oh, of course, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think the road review committee was under the impression that it did not get to, the deadline wasn't met getting it to Sewell, and so it was not going to be done. I can tell them tomorrow night at their meeting it is going to be
Yes, I
completed.
explained that to Roger last night.
Well, I haven't talked to him since last night.
I'm sorry that there may be any disappointment. I think what happened is the sequencing of the road review, they did a lot of work on it, came at the tail end of the contract with Sewell Company. Sewell Company graciously extended an extra 4 weeks without any additional cost. And so that segment, as well as a trails map, is being worked on. Those are two pieces that haven't been completed yet as GIS layers. And so, but everybody can rest assured that that will be completed. We know the amount of time that they invested in it. It didn't fall through the cracks other than, I think, a slight delay in Sewell Company picking up the document. They've started a Portland office, but it's a one-man office at this point in time, and corporate headquarters is, as we all know, up in Old Town. It's coming together. My best guess, I'll put myself out on the limb, is probably 2 to 3 weeks that they should have.
As long as it's going to happen, because the last conversation that I had with road review committee members is that it was their understanding it wasn't going to happen, and there was a lot of frustration with the fact that they had worked so hard and they felt like they had done it for naught. So I think as long as it's going to happen, that's great.
I don't know who the messenger was to the road review committee saying it wasn't going to happen, because it was the basis of starting this whole GIS mapping process, because it's a key layer. You want to have your base layer of not only lot lines, but certainly road systems. These are the basics of GIS, and then everything else that lays over it. So rest assured, and then in addition to that, they wanted to take it to another step of refinement, that being the road review committee. And so in addition to what's being delivered to them, then when they get to their next level of refinement, we're also going to get the Sewell Company to participate in getting that up to snuff. So again, it's a real good relationship. That particular layer is forthcoming.
Good. It was a very nice presentation that the Sewell Company did at that meeting. I'm anxious to, I know that you're the only one with a super secret password right now to the web base. I think it would be nice for the selectmen to be able to have a password and give it a test run too.
I think in due course, the selectmen can determine who's appropriate to have password to all of the systems and all the documents. Virtually all this is public domain information to begin with. There may be information that needs further refinement, so in that case there may be a security lock put on it until it's refined, because misinformation in a system like this would be unfortunate.
Yeah.
And so anything that might require more scientific follow through or double checking to make sure of the accuracy. For example, here's a good example. The lot lines that are shown on that composite map are lot lines that are drawn on a tax map system, okay? But are they electronically, accurately, scientifically accurate? No, they aren't. The only accurate tracked lot lines are those that are done by a registered surveyor in the state of Maine with a surveyor's seal on it. So there always can be discrepancy, and this is something that we're going to place caveat, as all municipalities that I know of, you need a caveat on digital mapping, so that people don't go out and try to do transactions or bring something to the planning board and subdivide land and say, well, this was my base map, I used it off the GIS system. Cannot do.
Yeah, I think you got to, and I think they did a great job presenting, but I think sometimes we lose the fact that a lot of that, in my days in engineering, we would refer to a lot of that stuff as cartoon drawings, because it's really not engineered drawings, right? And then there's certainly a piece that does have it. So I think, and we've known for years, that what Sebago has done for us is really just, in essence, cartoon drawing. Now it's reasonably to scale, right? But it certainly isn't, there's not a lot of validity to it other than the, hey, it's approximately here. So, but I'm curious why, if you take all of the drawings that Sebago did in CAD/CAM, even though they might not have been, you know, super scientific, if you want to put it that. I'm surprised that they don't mesh better than what they do.
The overly simplified answer to that is that our tax map system is in a variety of different scales, and in the original drawing of these maps, they were drawn cartographically. And so when they were done with a rapidograph pen, each of the, I remember this way back from college days, each pen has a different line weight, but no matter, if you draw a line weight so that you can see it, that weight of that line or that thickness of that line itself might be 5 feet, 4 feet, 10 feet. And so when you start having the thickness of a line compounded over multiple lots, you start compounding. If you have one error, it keeps on compounding.
But it is interesting how this goes full circle, because the first tax maps were from Sewell aerial photography, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And everything was generated basically off from that as kind of the template, if you will, right? And now here we are, many, many moons later, and we're saying, you know, put it into a system that we can actually pull up and look at. So
yeah. It's really quite remarkable. There is refinement. I've used this expression with a couple of people. I'd like to kind of close with this baseball metaphor. As far as GIS systems in the town of Waterboro, we 2 years ago were in kind of the wiffle ball league. We were playing wiffle ball. Now we're in the major leagues. We're up at bat, and we've hit a double. We're on second base. Okay, still not a home run, but we're up at bat, and we're really in the 21st century now. So we've made some great progress. Still a lot to do. There'll be mistakes that I'm sure will be reported to the selectmen, and just let the staff know, and it'll be our job to every time we see or hear of a mistake to clean it up.
yeah, the big piece that will have to be melded in here is Jerry's piece, right? So, I mean, and I know some towns, like I think it's Buxton, actually uses Harris, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you can go by alphabetical, you can go by a tax map and whatnot, and actually pull the information up, but it's not the town of it doesn't reside in the town of Buxton. It's Harris, I guess, software or whatever does it. But and Jerry's got a lovely PDF out there that you can search if you know how to search a PDF, right? Or if you want to go page by page by page. So it would be nice to be able to get that piece transitioned so that people can go by name or by lot or whatever, or by account number and pull up what the value is and what the taxes are and those kind of things. So.
It won't be too long, and I really can't put a time on it yet, where we can cross-reference everything. Where we can call up by name, by lot, by aerial photograph, by quadrants, by a whole. We're real close.
And when the last permit was granted, and whether the planning board was involved, and all of that. Right? So.
I mean, it'll come to a point where, the information is only as good as the information we put in. And if we had an immense amount of data that spoke to a specific book and page on references to lots or transfer of properties, we'd virtually be able to sit in a planning board meeting or a selectmen's meeting and tap up our historical context with book and page, past owners, now former, and just pull up all that information. What I'm excited about is to be able to, the next forthcoming subdivision or site plan is to be able to just to pop the aerial photograph up, have the chairman say, okay, Tom, let's pop over the lot lines, let's show all the abutters, okay, let's drop in the wellhead protection, let's drop in this, all the structures that exist. That's just going to be a great way to do planning. So,
And roads.
and roads, of course. It's almost embarrassing to say that layer isn't complete yet, but
It's been right from the beginning. It's been a
Yeah.
major part. Without without exception. So,
But I'll shoulder that because, somebody has to, and so I'll shoulder that and just say, maybe I wasn't tough enough, soon enough, fast enough, but it'll get done. I make that promise to you that that piece will certainly be completed.
Any other questions for Tom? Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Selectmen's report, let's start, David. Anything?
No, I met with Doug, looking over this public works thing, and we discussed a lot of different ideas, nothing concrete. And remind the public again that we do have a 2020 presentation next Monday at the fire station. And David, are you going to be able to tape that?
I'm not gonna be here next month. Let's see if we can set somebody up for it though.
Okay, that'd be good, if you could.
Yeah.
Is that with the Sewell Company?
and it's at 5 p.m.
5 p.m., yeah.
We just need to make sure they stay behind the microphone this time.
Okay.
Anything else, Dave?
No.
John?
Yes. I have two things. The community garden, if people look outside, it is really taking shape. A lot of work has gone down. There's 25 beds out there, all named for structures in Waterboro. At this point, there's, I think, 17 of them are full. So there's another 7 or 8 that people can rent. $25 for a 25 by 4 foot plot.
4 by
You can get a
24.
lot of lettuce in there.
4 by 24.
Okay, 4 by 24. You can get a lot of spinach and a lot of lettuce. And I understand the community garden committee has a bunch of spinach seeds too. But it's even big enough for a plot of corn for a family of. For a small family, anyway, so it's at this point, those next 7 or 8 plots are first come, first served. So anybody interested, come on down to Town Hall. You can make out an application, and you'll have a nice little garden here. The other thing is that I just want to mention last night, at around midnight, there was a fire, structural fire in Arrowhead, and it happened to be right beside one of the new fire hydrants that was put in. The fire was put out quickly, and so there was kind of almost an immediate payback there. So just want to let you know.
Good. Anything else, John?
Nope.
Tammy?
The only thing I have to report is that the 12-town group date has changed. Instead of the third Monday of the month, we're going to be meeting on the second Monday of the month now, and we'll be meeting on Monday, so I'll make the Sewell presentation for about an hour, so I'm not going to hold for that.
Okay. Good.
Job descriptions for the clerks is progressing. We pulled all the existing job descriptions that we have available, thanks to Christina. And what we're doing is collating those and making them specific to each position out there. A couple of things that we did learn as a result of the last meeting was that some of the employees, rightly or wrongly, I don't know, they haven't seen their job description. So I don't know as they just haven't taken the time to, ask or what. But when we have this finalized, they will definitely have to sign off as having received a copy in their possession, because we don't want that as an excuse, 6 months down the road that they didn't know they were supposed to do that or whatever.
Well, if you could let me know who didn't get one, because everybody gets one, and when they are hired, they are given a copy of it. Well, I don't
No.
understand how them, they didn't know what their job description was.
It arose, they didn't, Christine.
Okay. Anything else, Gordon?
No, I don't think so.
I just quickly, since how we kind of talked in and around the charter stuff, we have, as a group of folks on the selection committee, started to narrow down everything, and hopefully in the next few weeks should start first round of interviews. We've done a lot of background checking and probing in the last couple of weeks, so I think that's behind us. We should start moving forward with that. Town administrators report.
We did receive word that the CDBG grant for the water project for $330,000 was approved. In fact, they're coming down here Friday at 1, and Steve Libby's going to be here too. Steve Libby's going to handle all of the paperwork. But we have to have the initial meeting Friday.
So Steve's gonna handle the reporting and all that stuff that goes on.
To get back to the garden, this Saturday is open garden day for people to come down, look at the garden, ask questions about it. We're still working out there. I mean, did a lot of work last week. The wood chips was delivered. Now we're mulching between. We got the fence rolled up. It's not in place yet. The plumber is supposed to be coming within this week or next week to hook up the water. So there's been a lot of work done in the past week, and it's progressing very well. But I also want to make note too that on Wednesday the 22nd, we have a gentleman coming from the Kennebunk Community Garden who is experienced on square foot and vertical gardening. This guy is phenomenal. I mean, it's unbelievable what he can get out of a square foot space in his garden. He is, when we went down there, gave us a lot of information, and I'm glad he's coming. So that will be the 22nd at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And where's that gonna be? Right at the garden?
Out. Excuse me, in the old hall.
Excuse me,
In the old town hall.
the old town, okay. Instead of the 22nd, so.
Mhm.
Anything else, Nancy? You could give Tony a break, huh?
No.
You're working your son-in-law.
Yeah, I know. Poor guy.
Poor guy hasn't even had a chance to shave.
Oh, yeah. Shave.
No, he's trying to be the next person on that dynasty.
Oh, okay. All right, moving along. New business. Discuss the vote to allow Waterboro Historical Society to apply to the planning board for a conditional use permit for an ongoing community yard sale / farmers market / artisans market.
I will move that we grant the permit.
Second.
We can't grant the permit. All we're doing is saying we're okay with them going to the planning board.
Okay,
correct?
that's right, they grant, okay.
So
Then I
that's what
I
your motion
endorse
meant,
their,
right?
I endorse that effort.
Any
to go
discussion
forward
from
with
the
it.
board? Any comment from Jim or Diane?
I just kind of like to know why.
Why what?
Well, why we would have to go. I mean, we're only doing 3 hours a week.
I'm not sure. How did it appear on the agenda? Who drove putting it on the agenda?
Tina Smith, the code enforcement office, asked me to put it on the agenda because it was a change to the permit they currently have, because they're adding the yard sale, and because it's town property, they want to make sure the selectmen are okay with it, because it's going to be held on town property.
Okay, if it's the selectmen okay with it, then don't need to pass it on to the planning board
The
if we
planning
can
board
okay
has
it
to
here.
approve it because it's a change to their
They
current.
have to
Okay.
they have to approve a change to the wording of the conditional use permit?
I have, no, we just got a written permit, written permission through email from Matt for we've had the farmers market and artisans market. We're just adding,
So the planning board wasn't even involved in it?
no,
Maybe
Yeah,
just
that's-
another email's in order.
Yeah. Seems to me like this is a little bit over the top, but
Well, that's kind of what I thought.
Yeah, that's just what Tina told me, was that the planning board would want to know that the selectmen are okay with it.
okay, I guess if it goes to the planning board, so be it, but I think from the
I
board's
mean,
perspective.
if we
we'll-
say, okay, I'll go back to the original motion and then just notify the planning board rather than
Okay,
asking
here's
the planning
Tina.
board.
There. The town is a property owner.
Okay.
But we have a 99-year lease. We
Right,
have a 99-year lease on the property.
It's still in the town's name. I just thought I was covering bases.
Okay,
that's all.
yeah.
so
just-
I would say that what they want is permission from the town to,
Yeah,
and it
to do
really
what we did
doesn't have a
last
lot
year,
to do
we
with
had
the
community
planning
yard
board, right?
sale.
So I guess the motion should be that the board votes to allow Waterboro Historical Society to modify their conditional use, right? For a community yard sale, farmer's market, artisan market.
Yeah,
So
we
all
have
we're doing is
modified
approve-
ones. We don't have a condition of
Right,
use now.
so,
I guess we have to get one.
so I guess we would just approve any modification that might.
Okay, so
exist to be
then
recorded.
I will move that we approve the proposed
So,
project.
been moved, Tammy Jo, you're okay with the second? Now that we've clarified all of that, all those in favor, opposed, so do
And the
do whatever you need to do.
The Lions Club does the same thing, they come in even though they have a lease, to say what they're going to be doing.
Okay, for that shrub sale.
Okay,
So they have to get conditional uses or they get employment.
I think it's, all we've ever done is allow them to go do what they wanted to do. I'm not sure, does the planning board even, if they didn't cover the conditional use that you have now, you get just permission from the CEO.
Because you don't have a conditional use permit.
No.
They just
So
get
I think
permission from the
All we're
CEO.
saying is that if you wanna do something a little different with the town property, go do it. I think you just got that approval.
I guess we just had an organization.
Tim?
You know, as usual, a lot of it's just out of fairness. I mean, the folks that have the little thing at JD's had to come in for a permit. Cornerstone, they'll be coming in for a permit. So, I mean, it's just a formality, really, to make sure.
Well, I guess so. The
everyone's being treated
question, the
equally.
question really goes back to, should there be a conditional use permit for what you're doing over? And if the answer to that is yes, then I think that's a matter of formality, of going to the planning board and getting it approved. And
Yeah, it's kind of vague.
so the question is does the CEO have that authority, or is that the planning board? And did the CEO's authority, is that sufficient for what they're doing? Or?
We've gone back and forth. He doesn't feel that he does.
Okay.
I don't see in the ordinances that it's really an issue for the amount of time that they'd be doing it.
So maybe the planning board ought to have that discussion with the CEO of what the expectation is, right?
Sooner rather than later, so they're not
Yes.
left hanging in limbo.
Well, we plan to have them on the agenda for the 15th, so
Yeah.
it's moving
Go
along.
do what you gotta do.
Is that plenty of time?
I guess the thing is, in the future, what do we need to do? Just notify?
I would think that if it, even though it is a 99-year lease, probably a change of use probably should come to the board to say if you wanted to start running, casino nights at the Taylor House, then I think that we might have we'd have to maybe get involved in that, but,
Yeah.
so.
You wanna make it pass?
you just
Try
let
to
me,
alleviate
just
some
let
of
me
the
know what
tax
it
burden.
is. Could you reserve me a table? All right, I think we beat that one.
Well, I just want to add, because I just want, so we'll know for sure, like when At the Vine comes up, and that's an annual event that we've had for 15 years or whatever.
No, I don't think that changes anything.
Okay, anything
Historically, you've done a whole bunch of things there, right?
We try to, I mean, that's the whole point, is.
Right.
Raising money to help take care of the
And what did we do to allow replacing the old red schoolhouse and the,
I came and asked.
right,
for
so
permission.
it's just permission, right? So I think that's really what, I guess, that's gotta be a discussion between the planning board and the CEO of,
So-
because I think if there are instances where we have businesses in town that wanna do that, we probably shouldn't treat them any different than we do the Lions or you, or, you know, the Lions wanted to come in and do a similar thing, a farmer's market or whatnot, I would think that, you know, they typically have always come in and asked permission to change what they're doing, but I'm not sure that that's gone through planning board, has it? Maybe?
I don't think so.
Only when they've had some renovations, right? Or,
But not for the tree sale, shrub sale, and all that
That's
stuff.
fundraising. I mean, this is what this is, it's fundraising.
so just let us know what you're doing, I guess is probably, and if you feel that there's gotta be a vote of permission, then probably get on the agenda and we'll do that.
I think this is the type of thing that's really good for the town.
Yeah.
You know, that's, this is a direction I think wanna head in.
We're planning on opening the 18th,
So is it gonna be a farmer's market as well?
Farmers market, artisans market, and community yard sale.
So you're gonna be selling like suckling goats and things like that?
Could be. I'm not going to.
No. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item 2, discuss asking members of the RSU 57 board and or the administration to attend the selectmen's meeting to discuss the proposed budget. This, what's your pleasure? I think, Tammy, you...
Yeah, I just, the school budget is going to drastically impact taxpayers in our community. And I think more people are paying attention to what's happening at selectmen's meetings than what's necessarily going on at school board meetings. So I think just having somebody in from the RSU to walk through the warrant, explain it, it's just an opportunity to get the taxpayers more information on how this is going to impact them. Whether they're in favor of it or opposed to it, I think it's just an opportunity to get the information out.
I would expect that the superintendent in the school would want to do this, because I think what naturally with them here and making their presentation, they're going to make the presentation to support the budget, and it's another opportunity for them to talk directly to the taxpayers. So I would imagine that they would be very happy.
I guess my only question is what would be different, other than that they've now got a final number, from what Mary and the folks presented several weeks ago here?
Because
I mean, ultimately, they're gonna present that same information with the new final voted on budget numbers, correct?
Well, I would say that they probably would be able to give at least a little bit more information, because they still thought they were having different proposals coming forward to them when they were here last. So now they have a solid number.
Well, there is a warrant.
Yep.
So I guess we'd ask them to come speak to the warrant. So.
And I think it gives us the opportunity too to explain to folks how this process works, because the letters that we've gotten, certainly there's a misconception amongst taxpayers that the Board of Selectmen are responsible somehow for the school budget and that we approve it. And we don't. It's up to the folks within the community to go to the school meetings and vote on the budget. The only thing that we can do is make sure that the commitment is honored.
Okay, so why don't we put a request to all 3 school board members and request that, I guess, to the superintendent.
Say to extend that to DeLaBelle, the finance.
Or DeLaBelle and the I guess, superintendent can bring whomever he'd like.
Yeah, again, it's all how it's written. You can put it as a request, or you can put it as an opportunity for them to come.
Well,
They
I
would
think
like
now
to
that it's finalized,
provide an
and
opportunity.
there is
for
a
them to do
warrant, they should come speak to the warrant.
And Nancy, I know you had put like a tentative sheet together, and Dennis had asked that you do it with the actual number now. Have you had the opportunity to do that? Did I miss that somewhere?
Yes, I did.
I don't
I
remember
thought I
seeing
sent
it.
it, I thought I sent it out, but I'll double check.
I think the one that we got was the one that, the highest number.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
Dennis
my
had said,
response was, we ought to know what the breakdown
Yep.
is total, right?
Yeah, I think it, I'll
Okay.
follow it. Check on that tomorrow.
All right?
Oh, no, it won't be tomorrow.
No, you're gonna spend some time, some quality time tomorrow with Natalie.
Did, if I may,
Yep.
anyone get any information that I asked for on the adult education costs and how that broke down? I didn't get any.
Was that a question you asked of the school
Mary.
board?
I asked Mary to
Yeah.
send us information, I never got it.
If you go to the RSU's website, they have the warrant on there, and it's a complete line-by-line breakdown of the entire budget, and adult ed was in there.
I know the last figures that I got from Dee, I asked him if it included the adult ed, and it did. Because
Well-
they used to years ago give us an assessment, but it didn't include the adult ed. So after the vote was taken, you got a higher assessment because then adult ed was added to it. But in the past 4 years, 5 years, they've been including it into the assessment. So you know right up front what it's going to be.
It had the breakdown of salaries and curriculum and whatnot. David.
I guess I would like to better understand, and I didn't realize that the state mandates adult education. But I feel as adults who had an opportunity to go to school at one time, that they need to maybe share more costs than they are. I mean, if I go back to school, I pay for it.
Okay. I'm just quickly, as you're talking, David, looking through the warrant. I'm not sure that I'm seeing.
I don't think the warrant's gonna explain.
No,
What
it's
I
not,
mean.
but there is on Article 16, it does ask for the amount of $401,000 for Massa Basic Center for Adult Learning,
And that to me is a very
And then-
large number.
and raise a sum of $194,000 as a local share. So is that almost 600,000, or is that the total of 401? No, I'm sorry, appropriate 401, the local share would be 194.
I mean, that would be a good thing to have explained too, because I know there are some charges for taking courses. The question is what is needed for it to fund itself, you know? There's,
Yeah, it should be like revenue neutral, right? I mean,
yeah.
Well, I mean, if some guy loses his job and he has to go back to training for tech school, you know, he may get some assistance, but I'm sure he pays a good part of that.
okay, so why don't we extend that request? All right, finally under new business, we have, just to keep everybody up to speed, there is an effort on from certain citizens in town to work in conjunction with the town's June 8th free disposal at the transfer station, to do street cleanup or road cleanup and whatnot. And I think the only real question was, since there was a request that the town provide some trash bags to do this, that we just authorized Clint to give them some of the hundreds of trash bags that we still have left from paper bag effort. So,
Great
yes,
use of them.
I would entertain a motion to allow Clint to work.
I will move. So we use the trash bags for cleanup day.
Okay. Second, David, you second?
Yes.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? All right. Discuss vote on matured tax liens for foreclosure. I think it's in your packet. I also think Christina gave us these 5 sheets. So the real question would be, is there anything here that jumps out that we would decide not to go forward with?
I went back through, and the ones that we got new addresses for, we sent everything, all the liens that they hadn't received before, the copies of them, we sent it regular and certified mail. And also put a notice in it that, you know, that it would be going up for auction.
So we are satisfied that we've taken every effort to effectively notify these people, right? think the next question is how do you wanna, do we wanna conduct an auction to dispose of this property? And let's pick a date.
Does it have to be in August?
That's no longer part of the ordinance.
Okay.
So we can do it anytime that we want. It used to be in the ordinance, it said the second Saturday
Yeah.
of every, so I would suggest, and we always ran into, well, something else was going on that day.
Oh, like a Osprey Lake Association.
Their annual meeting was that day, not that that was a problem, but it always kind of eliminated us from attending their meeting, I think, but. So I'm open to whatever date anybody would like to. Doesn't have to be in the next fiscal year, it can be in this fiscal year. It can be, I think what we need to do is to make sure that notifications are appropriately made, that there will be an auction and your lot will be part of it.
I think the sooner the better, because it's gonna keep dragging out, and we're gonna have more problems collecting.
So if we were to back up for,
September 15th is a Saturday.
okay,
I think you gotta give them enough time,
okay,
because they have until that day to pay their taxes and back taxes, so you gotta give them a
So the
little.
question is do we wanna, I
time.
mean, traditionally, we always did it in August, all right? Is it something that we want to, if you said September 15th, that drives it to,
That's 4 months.
you know, that gives us a pretty sizable amount of time to alert anybody to say, right? Also be,
Oh, excuse me, that's a Sunday, be the 14th, Saturday.
is that reasonable, or do you wanna pull it in?
Well, would there be likely to be more people here in August?
I think what we saw, the last one that we ran, and I think Julie and I were the only ones here. I don't mean that with any disrespect to anybody, but, we ran an auction with 2 of us here, but, there were, you know, there's a fairly reasonably room full of people. You know, but yeah, and then we had 2 or 3 people trying to bid for the same lot, and like Caroline, because they both were butters. Things like that. I think that drives some of it. And some people, some guys are developers that are looking for an opportunity.
Now, this would be publicized, I assume, in the paper and what's listed and.
There's some very nice, desirable
There's
properties.
a nice property on Osprey Lake that's
Yep.
on here too.
Yeah.
so-
It's been on there several times before.
East Shore Road,
So anyway,
And my thought for September was that in August, a lot of people take
Yeah.
vacations and stuff, but in
Yeah.
September, school's starting, so people will be coming back home.
so you
It's
wanna
not
make
right
that,
at the start of the school year, so,
wanna make that in the form of a motion?
okay, I would make a motion that we set September 14th as a day to auction off properties that have matured in their liens pursuant to the printout that we have here. And that notifications go out appropriately. And newspapers having general circulation in this area. Posted on our webpage.
And do I have a second?
Second.
Second by David, and could I offer a friendly amendment that would be at like 10 a.m. in the morning?
I would be agreeable. I'll add that to my motion to have that as,
Second.
to commence at 10 a.m. and run through to at least 4.
Well, 1, 2, and 2 were done, right? So,
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to have it extend, for another day.
and something like that, just for general information, are the minimal bids,
Back
that's what the
taxes.
town has in it.
Yeah.
What's owed to the town. Back taxes and liens, right? So there's a number that's the minimum threshold.
yeah, okay.
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? So be it. I think we've already kind of gone through 2 under old business. Any warrants from bills of payroll? I'd entertain a motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Minutes of April 23rd regular meeting and the April 30th regular meeting.
Can you take those separate, because I wasn't here?
Yeah.
I wasn't here on the 30th, so
Let's do April 23rd.
So moved.
second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Opposed? So 401. And the April 30th meeting. Entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
One abstention.
Again, that's a 401 vote. Okay?
Can we back up to the lien properties for just a moment?
Sure.
Are we going to send to auction the ones where folks are making monthly payments?
No.
These are people who have stopped making monthly.
Okay. Well, there's some of them on here that still do say making monthly payments.
Some of them, yes, there is some still making monthly payments.
I thought they were
Yes,
stopped.
aren't they all on there now?
Yeah.
Well, certainly if they're paid off by that date, or at least we have the right to waive that if they're actively making a payment.
Yes.
Okay, we can drop that from the auction.
That day?
That day, we've accepted on Friday afternoon and dropped off that day that lot is no longer available.
Okay.
They have until the auction opens up at 10 o'clock to pay.
So the ones where somebody is making their monthly payments and their payments are current to their agreement, we would not auction those properties.
I would think that we wouldn't, as long as there's some net gain, right?
Now, what if somebody comes in August and plumps down $500 and they owe $10,000?
They have to pay it all.
They do. Okay.
Okay. All right, moving on. Pending decisions, public service announcements, driveway opening permit language, board and committee status, economic development forum, and implementation of the town charter changes. Week's action list is going to be an invite to the school board members and superintendent and whomever he chooses he needs here. What else did we kind of leave as an action item? That was it, right? Discussion of agenda items for next week. Okay.
We,
Can we get a breakdown
Well, no
of
meeting.
how much the town has invested in each one of these properties?
It's right there.
That number.
Okay, wait a minute, I'm sorry.
Or do
I
you have a
didn't- I
printout
didn't
right
scroll
here?
over, I'm sorry.
Way
That's
over
the
to the right.
printout that we have right here.
Yeah, okay. No, thank you.
Okay.
could we have a discussion sometime, doesn't have to be next week, but there are some properties in town that are available that, in my opinion, would be beneficial to the town to look into as a future.
Well, I think as those come up, David, then we ought to put those on a discussion item, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we can have a general discussion, but I think if we have some specifics, then I think we can zero in on the specifics.
All right.
And at the same time, it might be worth taking a look at some of the town-owned properties. Again, I know we did that a few years ago, and some of them we were able to auction off, but then there's some others that maybe we have an interest in selling.
So maybe we ought to have a discussion of,
Land
this
in
is what we
general.
own,
Yeah.
right? Should we continue to own it? And are there any other parcels that someone might approach the town that, and part of that's gonna be a rumor at that point, but if we have some specifics,
Okay.
maybe we bring it up. So, can we pull that together for next week? This is everything that we own, and this is,
I mean, would 2 weeks be better?
Let's put it out 2 weeks. Let's put it
Yeah,
out 2 weeks.
because Julie,
yeah.
I'm gonna have Julie,
Okay,
and
all right.
she's gonna be out, and
That'll give me some time.
Nancy J's gonna be out, and
What's that?
What are we actually buying?
What are you talking about?
What if the bank still has a sizable amount of money that's owed on the property? What am I, as a prospective buyer, actually buying?
You have the town's interest. Anybody buys at a town auction of property is the interest that the town has in it. You have to make peace with whomever else. Now, in some cases here, we've got lien holders are the banks. The banks should have paid the taxes.
there was one particular property on there, last time we went to auction, they bought it, and then they went to the previous owner to get a clear title, and previous owner did not wanted a lot more money than what the lot was worth, so that's why it's on the list. They
Which
said,
just ties everything up.
yep, it's on the list, and he said they weren't gonna pay the taxes, so it would go back to auction again. They wasn't interested in it anymore.
So, you're gonna see that, there's kind of all kinds of those scenarios that you're gonna see. Anything else before we move on? Okay, items in signature, warrants and bills of payroll, minutes of the 23rd and the 30th. Reminders, planning board workshop tomorrow night here in this room at 6 p.m. We're gonna be talking about cisterns. Road review committee tomorrow night, 6 p.m. in the old town hall. The senior luncheon at the Snowmobile Clubhouse, May 9th at 11:30 a.m. Old Home Days Committee meeting on Thursday night, May 9th at 6:30 in the Old Town Hall. And just a request, if anybody's interested in Old Home Days, they are looking for more people for that committee. I believe the Finance Committee has been canceled for May 9th. Cribbage Tournament on May 10th.
Should be the 11th.
Which is, should be the 11th. Saturday morning, 8:30 a.m. at the Old Town Hall. Community Garden Committee Open Garden Day is Saturday the 11th.
From 10 to 3.
10 to 3. And if you need somebody to do your work for you, just talk to Tony Lucarelli, he can just do it for you. Monday, 5 p.m., 2020 Master Planning Committee at the Central Station. There will be a presentation from the school company. I think that's part 2. Monday night as well, in this room, the 12-town group, 12-town group will be convening at 6:30. Cemetery Committee, Monday night at 7 p.m. in the Old Town Hall. Next week, we're here with the CEO, Assessors Agent, and the Saco River Quarter Commission reporting. We ought to put Saco in the future, put Saco River Quarter Commission with the Planning Department. Or with, yeah. And maybe we ought to, this is all going to be planning here pretty quick, right? Planning board meeting next Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Community Garden Committee, Monday, May 20th. We're looking out 2 weeks now. And then we're back here on the 21st. Parks and Rec, Old Home Days Committee, and they're reporting that night, right?
And the Community Garden Committee for next Monday, the 13th, has been canceled.
Okay. All right. Anything else? If not, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you and good night.